afternoon.
Welcome. This is an interview program organized by Transparent Nigeria, an online journal that monitors financial matters in Nigeria and encourages the publishing of fiscal issues in Nigeria. We have here the Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Fayemi. You're welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's start by asking, what are the most significant challenges that you have faced in leading the Ekiti State in terms of politics and the economic situation in the state when you assumed office?
Well, when I became governor in Ekiti State, I met a basket case. Let me just put it in sort of blunt terms. There was a ballooning debt profile for the state, almost 40 billion, was made a gaping hole in the state budget. The internally generated revenue in the state when I came in was 109 million naira a month, and I had a challenge. I had made promises, I had given several pledges whilst campaigning for the job. But then there had been an intervening period of 3.5 years of sitting in court, struggling to regain my mandate, and a lot had happened in that period. Yet people were still hugely expectant. They still wanted me to fulfill all of the things that I had promised, connecting all parts of the state with motorable roads, putting a computer on every secondary school child's desk, providing free education, free health care for the vulnerable segments of our population, pregnant women, the elderly, children, and the physically disabled. Of course, reigniting the economic opportunities in the state in terms of human capital development, in terms of industrial development, in terms of investment and tourism attraction, and also achieving gender equality and women's empowerment in the state. I had an 8-point agenda which covers all of these areas, but you can have all the ideas in the world if you don't have the resources to make your ideas come to life. It really wouldn't mean anything to people. So that was the contest in coming to office. But by the time I was a year in office, I'd managed to raise money from the capital market, which was not possible for the previous government because they couldn't even get the legislative approval to access finance from the capital market, and that was required in order to access a bond or development support. So I managed within a year to get that. I had also managed within that year to revive the relationship with development assistance partners. The World Bank was back fully, the UK AID defeat was back in Ekiti, UNDP was becoming more active, UNIDO, all of these players came back and started working with us in developing further our strategic plan. And then within that period, we were able to raise the internally generated revenue of the state from that 100 million that I talked about to roughly 600 million every month. So the hope started being rekindled in the population, and we did not renege on any of the programs. Also, the fact that I was able to openly declare who I was when I came into office publicly and advertise this in the newspapers, give people a sense of hope that, okay, this is certainly going to be different, which was the mantra when I was running, that a year ago, this would be a different type of government, run openly and run with the people. And in developing budgets, I would go to communities and ask the communities for their priorities. And give me 3 things that you want us to do, and I'll go with commissioners, go with all my leading advisors, and we'll draw up a plan on the basis of what each community had suggested to us they would like to see. And most times, nothing extraordinary. We want water, we want our health center fixed. We want support for our farmers. We want you to help us renovate our palace for the other basic stuff. And this is what we now gather, analyze, and incorporate into the budget alongside our own standard vision for implementation. So that's the context of my coming to office.
Now you just, been past your, half of the term a few months ago. What kinds of disappointments have you experienced in the last 2 years? And in the context of that, what are the things that you think may be difficult to achieve within the limit of your first term in the context of the challenges you met in the office and your overall vision for the state?
If you ask me, really, the most critical challenge that I had encountered would revolve around the values depreciation in our society. Ekiti used to be a place of values, very, very rustic, traditional, honest, dutiful, accountable, meritocratic society. But coming in, I discovered that a lot of things had gone pear-shaped. And people had challenges coping with some of the things I brought onto the agenda. You must take an exam before you become a permanent secretary or a head of service or an accountant general. All principals and teachers must take exams. And they resisted. They got into all sorts of quarrels with me over these issues in a state that used to privilege meritocracy. So we then felt we needed to do something quickly about that. To connect with our history, we changed the motto of the state from Fountain of Knowledge to Land of Honor, and we linked the importance of character and brilliance. That it's not just enough for you to be brilliant, to do well in school, but you need other values that would help you become a better citizen in society. So that's still an ongoing challenge. But I think people are beginning to reorientate themselves to the need to focus on what is good. And everybody knows the difference between good and evil. But if you operate in an environment of impunity, the line begins to blur, and you also take advantage of it, because you see the sense in not doing the right thing, because nobody's going to penalize you for not doing the right thing. And in any society where that happens, that is the result you get. But once people begin to see the reorientation, that look, if you do this and you're caught, you're a goner, things also gradually begin to change. The second is question of resources and the need for creativity and innovation. When we came in, one of our very, very strong vision was that by the time we're 4 years in office, we want an Ekiti that is not as dependent on federal allocations coming from Abuja. And as a state whose provenance was really agrarian, and that's the backbone of the meritocratic progress that we witnessed in the western part of the country in the 50s and the 60s, we felt that there was no reason why we could not revive that in this season. And that's essentially what we've been doing. We've been focusing a lot on agriculture, we've been focusing a lot on tourism, and on investment opportunities in the industrial sector, particularly agro-processing, so that the old approach to locally generated income would become the rule rather than the exception. And progress is coming gradually with regards to that. And it has also managed to prove that it is not the abundance of the resources or lack of it that pushes the vision. It is your own clarity and determination. Because some of the things we do on our 2.5 billion naira monthly allocation, the question that people ask all the time is, how are you able to do this? Where is this money coming